Alright, welcome back everybody. Today we are doing our second video of Wings of Fire, The Lost Heir. And this one we're going to do some spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, do
This is
not
the
watch.
boot, and this is the person who doesn't like spoilers. Is go.
Yeah, something like that. So we're going to be talking about some spoilers, some scenes, I guess, if that's how you if that's how you describe it, and that we loved in this book. And
What we didn't like.
and what we didn't get like, I guess what we didn't like, so yeah, let's start off. So what's something that you like? What's that you want to spill to everybody? That you want to spoil to the audience?
So Tsunami killed her dad.
All right, so yeah, so that's the big one. So if you remember, so go ahead and describe this.
So okay, now me and my dad, when we read this book, he was just reading this yesterday, and he started laughing when he read this part. And I remember when I read this part, I couldn't breathe because I was laughing so hard. So it's a really funny part, but it's also kind of sad. But it's like packed full of like ridiculousness.
All right.
But basically,
so set it up.
in the first book, Tsunami is put up against a dragon named Gil. Now remember that name, and so she fights him, and she has a choice to spare him, but the queen gets under her skin and she kills him. And then in the second book, she's talking to her mom after she got there, and she's like, "Do I have a dad?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like, she's like, did you see him at all? And she's like, "Why would I do that?" It's just because because he was in the prison, and she's like, "Your father was Gil," and it's just like, oh, oops,
Right.
whoa, that's not good. So, I mean, you kind of beat herself up about that one because she killed her dad.
She killed her own dad. It's kind of like those Greek mythologies where somebody says, "You will kill your son will kill you." The king's
Oh,
he's
you mean
like,
Darkstalker?
No, just like Greek mythology. It's like your son will kill you, and they're like, they banish the son, and then
Yeah.
the son fights the dad, and he kills the dad without knowing
That's
who
his
the dad
dad.
really was and stuff. It's
Yeah,
something
and
like
it's
that.
just like, hey, that was your dad, and they're just having like a mental breakdown right now because they're like, I just killed my dad.
Yep, and that's kind of what goes through Tsunami. But she kind of recovers pretty quick. I mean, she still thinks about it, but
She's not as violent anymore, actually. In
Yeah.
the next few books, she's actually not as violent.
right.
Well,
She has that, and then
aggravate
the
her.
event at the beginning of the story that
Yeah,
really affects her is that
She tries to drown. She actually does successfully drown a Skywing, but
yeah,
Clay was like, and she was like, I feel bad. I don't like this guy doesn't need to die. So they drag him on, and then Clay basically beats the crap out of his chest until he pumps the water out.
right.
So and then they decide, oh well, we can't really let this guy go, so let's put a log on him.
Yeah.
So they put a tree on him, and then he's just like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, yeah, but the reason why that event is so important in the story is that
Yeah, they give her grief.
they give her grief because there's like you didn't need to.
They're just like,
you didn't need to beat that dragon up.
She was just like, I'm pretty sure he was about to yell, and Glory's like, I thought he was yawning.
Yeah.
And
So
she's just like,
so from there on out though, she doesn't act. She thinks.
she's like,
she deliberately
always
thinks
thinking.
before she acts.
Yeah, she's forcing herself to think,
Yeah.
and that's like against her whole nature. But
Yeah.
like, it's really funny to see her try and do that because she's just like trying so hard.
Yeah. She doesn't think. Usually she don't think. She just acts.
She's just like, oh,
Right.
so yeah, that Skywing lived.
Mm-hmm.
He's never brought up again, like ever after this book. He's just like,
Yeah.
poof, and he's gone.
Then we got to she meets a love interest, I guess you say,
Yeah.
because I haven't read the books past this.
Yeah, it's her. Well, I mean, it's kind of setting it up.
And his name is Riptide.
Yeah,
Who's
hilarious meeting right there.
He's a traitor.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's the hilarious meeting?
So apparently there's an entirely different language that she has no
Right.
idea about.
Well, explain the language.
It's called aquatic, and basically they flash lights. So they flash certain lights. It's kind of like Morse code, but with lights.
Yeah. So I
they
guess
use-
sea dragons, when they're
Yeah,
underwater,
yeah, sea wings
they're
talk
able
like
to
that.
like their skills.
Yeah, because
Like Godzilla.
Because vocal cords don't really work that well.
Like
when they're in water.
Godzilla.
Godzilla's spine Yeah, actually, I think the only message he brings when his spikes are lighting up is you better run for your freaking life or you're gonna be
Well, in
melted.
Gods and Monsters, he lights them up underwater.
Well, yeah, but yeah,
But anyways, we're not on Godzilla.
So yeah, basically.
So what she
for another day.
Right. So what did she tell? Yeah, for another day,
Okay.
we'll do Godzilla.
We should have marked this quote. It's a ridiculously funny quote. I'm gonna try and find it. You continue to talk.
Right. So she accidentally tells this.
Don't say what it is though.
I can't remember the quote word for word. But she accidentally tells this other dragon that she likes him.
I'm almost there.
That she likes him, and he's like, "Yeah, you told me you liked me, and my breath smells."
Wait, no, stop
like
talking.
fish.
I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
We'll get there. So that's the first meeting, and they hit it off right away. But then at the end of the book, she finds out that he's actually working for the Peace of Talons, which we didn't really talk about too much in the first.
Okay, here we go.
But hold a second.
Oh,
First
I found
book.
it.
And so she finds out that he's actually working for that organization, and they were the ones who kidnapped him and treated him real bad.
So she has kind of conflict.
Right, so she likes him, but then she finds out that he's been lying to her.
He's like, why do you lie to me so much?
Right. So anyways, this is
Found
what
it.
she...
Okay, this is how...
She unintentionally told...
Okay, so this is
Riptide.
how this conversation went. Tsunami says, tell me exactly what you think I said. He sighed. So Riptide said, I said, what are you doing all the way out here? And you said, he paused, rubbing his front toe. Okay, I'm going to stop reading that. He said, hey, sparkling teeth, I totally love 3 of your claws, but not the others, and I wish your nose was a herring so I could eat it, and also your wings sound like sharks snoring. So,
Okay.
you know.
Can you read that a little slower?
Okay. Hey, sparkling teeth, I totally love 3 of your claws, but not the others, and I wish your nose was a herring so I could eat it, and also your wings sound like sharks snoring.
Right.
That's how that meeting went. He's like, what you up to? And she says that, and she doesn't know she's saying it.
Right.
And so she thinks he's completely crazy when he tells her what she said
Right.
to him. So
And supposedly those words is how you hit on another dragon.
I think it was more like he said it was confusing. So it's just like he's like it was a little confusing or a lot confusing. But he was like, is that a compliment? I'm gonna take that as a compliment. So he's like, okay. And then he's really surprised when he gets smacked in the face. So because. Number one thing, if a girl does give you a compliment, don't try and hug them. That'd just be weird, but, that's basically how that went. Yeah. He's just, she says that, he's like, oh, and so she's like, so he goes up and, tries to, hug her or something, and she's like, and in his snout. And
right.
then she's just like, she doesn't feel bad until, after he explains it, and he's just like, if he really was being friendly, then his poor snout. I'm just like,
Yeah. Okay.
Oops.
So what's another part you like? What's another scene?
Well,
you
the
enjoyed?
Mystery.
Yep. Okay.
Let's just say that the mystery is freaking unsolvable because the only bit of information.
So to describe the mystery, we have to go with the first daughter, right?
Yeah. So the first daughter. So the first daughter challenged the queen,
Yep.
and then
First
she
daughter's
died.
name is Orca.
Yep, she died, and then after that, egg started being crushed. So, and no one else really wants the job anymore because every single freaking time an egg gets broken, they have their teeth ripped out, and then their chest pounded in, and then their head smacked into a rock. So, I wouldn't want that job either, so she's basically kind of forcing people to do it.
Yep, and she's killing all the
She's
Guardians.
killing everyone!
Right, so we find out.
And she was actually willing to kill Tsunami, too, if she failed. She says that. She's like...
If this egg dies, I will lose 2 daughters.
I'll be losing 2 daughters that day, and Tsunami's like, well...
Yeah.
I love you, too!
Yep.
So, yeah, Coral's like, really good, Mom, except for, she keeps her baby on a leash.
Yeah, so she has another daughter named,
Anemone.
and she keeps her on a leash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wherever she goes, she has her baby.
This 2-year-old dragonette
dragon
walking around. This dragonette's just like, I hate this.
I hate my life.
I hate
can't go
my
anywhere.
life.
Yep.
Just like, I hate my
And
life.
the worst part is the mom made her make her own leash. Because now we get back to the magical world
of Animus dragons.
Wings of Fire.
Animus.
And it still doesn't make any sense to me. I still don't like the magical system that she has presented. Really hate it. Because even here, she's like, here, why don't you take this spear and say, find Queen Byrne's heart.
Yeah, just compass.
So if you put that to his logical conclusion, you say, here, this spear, I command you to kill every sandwing or every dragon that whatever, and then that
it happens.
That would happen, and nobody can stop it.
I mean, other than
well, I guess
Animus.
they could stop.
Another Animus could stop it.
Yeah, well, I mean, because
or they could also destroy
well, in the
it.
story, Tsunami stops the statue from killing eggs. So what we find out is Orca
is the murderer, and if you're like, what? How is
Yeah.
she the murderer? She's dead. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? She actually apparently had this plan where she was gonna be queen for like a really, really long time. So she was gonna kill off her own kids.
Right.
And yeah,
and Orca
it
is
kinda
an
didn't work.
animus. And Orca is an animus, which is
She was very
a
smart.
dragon with magical
Yeah, she
powers.
was very, very smart. And saying that because she kept her powers hidden from Coral, which I probably would have done the same thing, knowing Coral, because
Mm-hmm.
Coral actually started at the near the end of the book. She was able to be convinced into locking her daughter up in prison because she thought it was keeping her safe. But it's just like you threw your daughter in with all these other
Right.
people. It's just like, oh look, here's an enemy, here's an enemy, here's an enemy. Okay, let's
Yeah.
throw you in the middle of it.
Right. And the reason we're not talking about her friends, the other 4 dragons, because they've been in jail the whole time. So they're only in the
Jail.
They're all Simple.
It's not jail, but it is.
See,
It's a jail.
They told Tsunami that they were putting them in a room and they'll
Be
feed them and
taken
stuff.
care of. Yeah, and then they chain
Because
Clay down to
the
the
palace
freaking-
is far away
Yeah,
underwater.
and also they don't want
yeah.
they also don't want mass panic in the palace, but they chain Clay down to the floor, and if you don't know who Clay is, he's basically Jesus reincarnated as a dragon, though. But they chain him down to the floor.
Yeah.
This wonderful dragon is now.
Yeah, because he's always doing good. That's why.
He's perfect in basically every way. I mean, he has no edges,
Yeah. So
none whatsoever. He doesn't hold a grudge. He doesn't.
So her friends are in the first 4 at the very beginning, and then they don't show back up until
Near the middle,
the last third of the book. I
Yeah,
would say.
because they're in that little area. It's just hey, they're gonna be well fed
All
and all
right.
that.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Auklet.
What?
Auklet.
Oh, yeah. So Akla is the baby that she. I don't even know how to pronounce that word.
Auklet.
I know I didn't know how to pronounce it.
Auklet. How do
But
you
anyway,
pronounce it?
She is the baby.
Auklet.
I don't know.
Auklet.
But she was the baby that
The adorable,
Tsunami
the
protected
adorable little sea wing.
and was able to defeat the statue that Orca possessed to kill all of Queen Cora's eggs.
Oh no, Anemone did that.
So what do you want to talk about her for? She has no lines or anything.
She's just cute. So, also, we learned some things about Whirlpool. There was another mystery. Who was trying to kill Tsunami?
Yeah.
Someone tried to kill Tsunami, and
And the stupidest reason is that he didn't want to marry her.
he preferred to
Right.
marry. He preferred to marry Anemone,
Yep.
and he's just like, I'm not marrying this person. And
Yeah.
he's just like,
Right.
so
So he gets fed to some electrical eels.
yeah, because he kind of gets smacked in the jaw with a stick.
Yeah, my enemy.
Yeah,
Who-
so-
she didn't like him either.
Well, no one liked him except for the queen.
Yeah, except for the queen. Okay.
So we have some more things. Webb shows up,
Yep.
reveals that he's not
You got
that.
time to finish that sentence?
Yeah, I think I should be.
Okay, good,
So
go.
Webb's he reveals kind of why he's always running. It's not really. He doesn't like fighting. It's not mainly because he's scared. It's more of because. Yeah. Shush. So it's more because he just doesn't. He doesn't like killing. He's just he's more of the teacher. He likes to teach. He likes geography and history and all these things,
He
but
doesn't like violence.
doesn't like violence. So he runs when there's violence, and
And he's the one that stole Tsunami's eggs.
yeah. So that did, and he got poisoned, and so now that's gonna happen. So he is poisoned, hasn't died. We don't. Not gonna say if he dies or not, but I think that's all we have. So
All right, talk to you guys next time, and have a great day.
Bye.